We are just waiting for a couple of more minutes and then we'll quickly get started so that all the participants can join in. Okay, so let's get started, everyone. Welcome to the webinar hosted by Team iCongro. I hope everybody can hear me very well. And I really hope that everybody can see the screen well. I would request all of you to type in whenever you have queries in the chat window. All right? Okay. So let me introduce myself to all of you very quickly. I am known as the front runner in the cloud world. I have a total experience of more than 10 years, which spans from across various HR modules, implementation in SuccessFactors Cloud, and on-premise SAP. I'm known for my skills as a talent specialist in HR. And today, I will be walking you through the world of cloud. So before we would enter the world of cloud, I would request all of you to fasten your seatbelts so that we can take off. Before we take off, let's have a look at the agenda that we have. So during the due course of tenure, we will look at the cloud trends. We will understand what is cloud in layman terms. We will also understand what is human capital management and why does it matter. We will then have an understanding of HR on cloud, which is then getting started with SuccessFactors. We will then have a look at what iCongro has to offer. And then we will have an open forum, which will be open for all of you as a wind-up session and a Q&A session. I request all of you to please go on mute. And if you have questions, you can type in the questions in the chat window and the iCongro team will respond to all your queries in the chat window. So before we begin our journey, we have a teaser for you. So I would like to know from the audience, have you ever used any cloud application? So you can type in your answers in the chat window. Have you ever used any cloud application? Okay, Bharat says no. Ritika says no. What about the other participants? Okay. Tenacious Tailblazer says yes. Anybody else? Okay, so most of you say you haven't used. So my next question is, people who have used any cloud application, can you cite any examples that you've ever come across for the cloud application? Anybody from the participants? Okay, so Bharat says SAS, PAS. Okay, so Gmail, Facebook. Great. Okay, so good examples from people who have used cloud examples. So while we will understand what is cloud in the layman terms, I guess everybody would understand they have at some or the other point definitely used cloud examples. Yeah, because I believe all of you are using too many apps which are on cloud, Facebook, Gmail, Google Drives and everything. So we'll understand them in the upcoming slides. Okay. So let's begin our journey of cloud trends. So there is on the cloud trends, we will be discussing that as per the latest Magic Quadrant of the Gartner report, what is in store for all of you. Yeah. So when we say by 2020, 30% of the global mid-market and large enterprises would have invested into human capital management suite. So this is the first trend. The second trend says that the entire human capital management.
Rita, here, can you please be a bit slow?
Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about the second trend, the overall HCM software solution market is 11 billion, which was at the end of 2017. And then the third trend, which is very important for all of us, it means that there is a continued interest in cloud HCM suite solutions, which will drive considerable market activity for at least next 3 to 5 years. So based on all these key trends that you see, what is in store for all of us as consultants who are working in these industries? So when we say that there's a huge interest that an investment going on in the cloud market, it means that the number of job opportunities that we have and the salaries that these people would be getting would be immense. So what needs to be done in that case? In that case, we need to upskill ourselves in the technologies that we are working and upskill ourselves towards the cloud technology. So we have picked up a snippet for you from the Naukri.com wherein we would like to showcase uh, how success factors job trends are. So you can see that there are multiple job openings in the market by huge MNCs which are IT multinationals, basically like Accenture, TCS, Cognizant, Infosys, all of them hiring consultants at all level, right from the freshers to laterals and mid senior level to the senior levels, and creating a lot of opportunities in the cloud market for success factors consultant. So there's a lot of opportunity coming in, and that is the reason why we need to upskill ourselves in the cloud technology. So let's have a look at the cloud market. When we want to look at the cloud market, this is again the Gartner report wherein Gartner has laid the trends on completeness of vision.
Rita, Nishanji, can you please be a bit slow? We are not able to follow.
Okay, so when we talk about the cloud market, uh, let's have a look at the completeness of the vision and the ability to execute. So if we want to look at the cloud market, we see that on the completeness of vision, SAP SuccessFactors is the market leader. When it comes in the leaders quadrant, we have Workday, we have Oracle, we have Ultimate Software, but we see that SAP is the leader in this quadrant with SuccessFactors, and we have 1,700 clients adopted who have adopted Employee Central by 2018, and it has been delivered in 84 countries with 41 country payroll and 16 for benefits. SuccessFactors has 40 predefined intelligence services which facilitate event-based integration. Also, SuccessFactors is transitioning to its own database, which is S/4HANA Cloud implementation. So, because of these trends, cloud technology market is grooming, and SuccessFactors has been declared as the market leader in this area. So, having understood the cloud trends, let's understand what is cloud. So, in the layman terms, few years back, we used to store all our documents in floppies or hard disks or CD-ROMs. So I still remember with that a few years back, I used to store all my data in CDs, and then I shifted to storing it in the hard disk. But I was always fearful that maybe what if my data is lost, or what will happen if I lose all the data because the hard disk gets corrupted. So I have a question for all of you, that imagine yourself in a situation where your laptop or your computer crashes suddenly. So will you worry about it in today's world? So the answer should be no, because we are now practicing of storing all our documents in the Google Drives, which is storing our documents, photos, music, and everything on the cloud. So, which means that, and even if you're not doing this, you should start practicing this, because in that case, whenever you have something which is stored in cloud, it means that it is stored in the internet services. And when it starts getting stored on the internet services, there is no fear of losing any data. And this is where you start using cloud. So, for example, Google Drives, wherein you store your confidential documents or your project documents and everything for future reference. Your Microsoft Office 365 are all examples of cloud applications which you are using regularly. So, having understood what is cloud in layman terms, let's have a look at what is human capital management. So, if you look at human capital management, we have people in the center, which is encircled by skills and roles and people revolving. So, HCM revolves around people, skills, and roles in an organization, and it also defines the complex and crucial task of effectively managing the people that comprise of the workforce. And if we want to look at the dictionary definition of what HCM means, then human capital management refers to the methods, processes, and practices regarding the management of the most valuable asset of your organization, which is people. So, when we talk about human capital management as a process, then we all understand that it starts with hiring and it ends with the retirement of an employee. So, all the processes which happen between hiring to retirement forms the human capital management as a whole. So I hope as of now you've understood what is cloud and what is human capital management. If there are any questions, please type in the chat window.
Okay, so Rekha, this is Nishant. So what you're saying is that as of now, cloud technologies are taking over most of the previous, how do I call it, previous technologies, and SuccessFactors is one of the technologies that SAP HR is using.
That's right, Nishant. Any other questions from anybody? Any question that comes to your mind regarding what is cloud or what is human capital management or anything about the trends? Feel free to type in your questions or ask those questions if there are any, so that we can clarify your doubts. All right, so shall we proceed next? Okay, I would request all of you
Yeah.
to go on mute, please. Okay. So, having understood what is cloud, what is human capital management, let's have a look at why does human capital management matter at all. So, when I said that human capital management starts from hiring of an employee, yeah, which means that it manages all the employee information, then which is related to maintaining of your records, your personal details when you all join an organization. Then there is an induction to given to all of you regarding your roles and responsibilities. You perform according to the roles and responsibilities and you are paid for it. And then you want to move into a next role for which there's something which is known as employee development, and based on that you move on to the next level, and the last step to this is the retirement phase. Yeah, so human capital management is very important for tracking the employee life cycle and better engagement of employees in the organization for conducting their day to day activities in the organization. You must have noticed that earlier our functional leaders used to maintain huge Excels and databases where they used to maintain all the details. But now, with the change in the technology and analytics given so much of priority, the reporting functionalities, which is very robust and flexible, our functional leaders have turned into strategic leaders wherein they are able to analyze the data well and can take decisions for their organization. So, because of all these three parameters, human capital management becomes very important for any organization. Yeah. So, this was all about what we were talking about, what is cloud, what is HCM. Then let's have a look at what is success factors, which is the technology part of human capital management, which is basically why we are hosting this webinar. That success factors is a cloud technology which is gaining momentum very quickly and is one of the niche skill sets where there are a lot of job opportunities getting created in the cloud market. So, when we talk about this on this slide, we will also help you understand that if you are from different walks of industry, which module should you choose and what is in there, what is in store for you. So, if we look at the cloud for success factors as a whole, it encapsulates all the processes from hiring to retirement. It begins with attract and retain, wherein we talk about the recruitment management, which you all must have undergone when you were applying for a job. Then we have compensation management, which generally takes care of your salary and growth. We have career planning and succession planning, which is responsible for the attract and retain. Then we have align and execute, wherein you are a part of the performance cycle, the appraisal basically. Go through the goal management and performance management. Participate if there are 360-degree reviews in your organization, that is basically your peers give a feedback on your performance. And then there is calibration. Then once this is done, then you move on to develop and learning, wherein you groom yourself in the organization by undergoing trainings. And you also have something which is known as social learning, which in success factors is known as jam, wherein which is very similar to Facebook, and wherein there are groups created and people can collaborate together in the groups regarding a topic. So, for example, if we want to understand a technology which is related to artificial intelligence, so I will create a group in JAM, and all the people who work in that community can join that community, and all questions and answer sessions can be done in that social learning JAM group. So, these are all the modules which are there in success factors. So, when the question arises that which module should I choose in success factors, so the answer would be depending on your background. So for example, we have people who work on domain HR, we have people who are working on different technologies like PeopleSoft, which is acquired by Oracle. We have Oracle Fusion as its own product. we have Workday. In those situations wherein people are already working on HR processes and all, so whatever module they are working on, they should take that module, preferably, not mandatorily, but preferably. I would like to give my own example, because prior to working on SuccessFactors, I was working with different multinationals in SAP on-prem, and I was working on talent modules like learning management system, performance management system. And then when I had to move my own career and I opted to go on to learning cloud technology, I definitely was very keen on doing learning management and performance management. So today in the cloud market, I'm known as a talent management specialist who's working on learning management and personal management. But if you are a fresher who does not have any idea on what HR processes are, or does not know what core HR would be, then I would definitely recommend, this is a recommendation, please note, not a mandatory criteria. You can feel free to choose any module that you want to learn, but the recommendation would be that you should go ahead with core HR, which is basically talking about organization data, employee data, what are the different kinds of actions which are performed on an employee in the core HR processes. So that is how you will be able to decide which module you want to get trained and then take the certification accordingly. I hope there are no questions on this. If you have any questions, please type in the chat window. All right, so I'll be moving on to the next slide. Okay, so here are the top 10 reasons why success is simply human with success factors, and this is a slider which typically success factors promotes. So there are various reasons why success factors is the market leader, and I will not be talking about all of them, but the key ones. So if I talk about success factors key criterias, so one is the consumer style and the experience. Basically, the UI is very flexible and easy to use, which is available on mobile, desktop, laptop, everywhere wherein you can easily access the success factors app. And then talking about the next functionality, which is built-in decision support. So if we talk about the built-in decision support, it is fully integrated with HR processes. So there are more than 19,500 unique HR content elements, which include predefined competencies, predefined skills, predefined job families, predefined job roles, mostly the talent decisions, which are already available as a standard functionality in SuccessFactors, which is very huge and robust. When we talk about intelligent services, this is the next cloud technology criteria, wherein the system is intelligent enough to drive to the next step or the action that you're performing on the system. So intelligent services, as of now, there are 40 intelligent services which SuccessFactor has delivered. When we talk about deployment action options, SuccessFactor itself has a motto that you can start anywhere and you can go anywhere. And we also have a slider wherein we would be discussing what deployment options an organization can follow when it wants to go or move on to cloud. Then the local compliance and the presence around the world is very good. The solutions are available in 75 countries, more than 1500 regulatory compliances, which are available in 41 languages. So you can just understand the breadth and depth of the solution which is available globally for SuccessFactors Cloud. Because of all these features, SuccessFactors is recognized as the market leader, which we already were able to see in the cloud trends as well. Okay, so any questions on the slider which reads on SuccessFactors capabilities which are available or functionalities which make it different from others? Any questions? Okay, so I'll be moving on to the next slide. So on this slide, you will be able to see the success factors, which is represented on one classic diagram, which means how the modules are interrelated to each other. So if we talk about the talent management modules, we have recruitment, we have onboarding, we have learning, we have performance and goals, we have compensation and succession and development, and all these are supported by different competencies, skills, and best practices that are provided by success factors. When we talk about employee or core HR as a whole, as I mentioned earlier, we have employee record keeping, we have organization management, we have global benefits, shared services, payroll, time, and attendance. So the core HR encapsulates all these modules, which is secure, integrated, and extendable for all the modules. When we talk about the user experience, as I said, that the UI is great and easy and flexible to handle. It is also available on the mobile, desktop, and laptop, so you can easily access it. Intelligent services, which are automated event reasons, which are understood by the system, and it is socially available, which means that jam groups which are available wherein people can collaborate, discuss about a topic, and understand. For example, like we have meetup groups, in success factors we have jam groups. So I'm moving on to the next one. But before I move into success factor modules one on one and show you the details in the system, I would just like to ask all of you if there are any questions on what we saw as of now. The overview on the different modules, what are the talent modules that we have, what comprises of the core HR. Any questions on that? Feel free to type in the chat window. Any questions from anybody? Is everybody able to follow? I request all of you to make the session interactive. If there are any questions, feel free to type in the chat window and ask as many questions you have. Okay, so I take your silence as no questions. Bharat, anybody can move into success factors provided you are interested to move into the field of cloud technology. Even if we have too many people working on testing and all of those stuff in different areas, but if you are interested in moving yourself into cloud world, you can definitely get yourself trained and certified. So yes, we will be talking about the certification details very shortly. We have a Q&A session, and I think the iCongro team can respond to your queries, and we will definitely answer to all your queries that you have listed in the chat window. Okay, so let's have a look at the Employee Central, which is known as the core HR. So when we talk about the Employee Central module, basically it is managing people locally and managing their business globally. So when I talk about Employee Central in layman terms, it is managing all your organizational and the employee data in the system. Say for example, which is hiring, transfer of an employee, leave of absence, giving a spot bonus to anybody, all those actions will be related to the Employee Central module. So anything which is related to organization and employee data would be a part of this module. And this module forms the face of the human capital management, because as we said that the basis of any organization would be its organization and the employees who are working, and it is tightly integrated with all the talent modules. When I say talent modules, it includes recruitment, onboarding, learning management, performance management, and all other talent management suite modules. And due to the seamless integration that EC has with the other modules, it gives better insight so that the business leaders can take strategic decisions for their organization, and the performance outcome is great. It provides a seamless integration if the people are searchable and all the organizational information. So let's have a look at the key players who are involved in Employee Central. So when we talk about the key players, the most important players would definitely be the HR, and Employee Central acts as a single source of truth for all the employees who can be recorded in the system for your entire organization. Then there would be managers in the organization, and SuccessFactors Employee Central makes it very easy for the managers to take any action in the system by just a click of button. Because of these functionalities which are available, because of the robustness, ease of using the entire module, this module is very, very niche in the market and is a required skill set for the cloud technology for people who are working in SuccessFactors. Then moving on to one important capability in Employee Central, that is the workforce analytics. Now in the market, analytics is growing very rapidly. So if we talk about Employee Central, it comes along with more than 2,000 metrics, which helps you to analyze your own organization data with the help of these matrices which are available, along with the integration of the talent data. So since Employee Central is integrated very well with workforce analytics and with other modules, so the analytics part can be done very nicely with the help of the workforce analytics, technical and the functional modules, which is available with SuccessFactors. Any questions so far on Employee Central? Any questions with anybody? Okay, so if there are no questions from anybody, then let's go into the system and see how the system looks like. So you can see the home page of the SuccessFactors. So when you're working as a consultant, this home page can be adjusted to the requirement of the client. So if there is a logo that needs to be added, or the theme that you see here is SuccessFactors standard, but these images can be changed based on the requirement of the client. So I will just key in my user credentials. And once I key into the user credentials, this will open the home page of SuccessFactors. So if you see, I am logged in as myself. iCongro admin is my details here. And on the home, there is a drop down value which will show the different modules in SuccessFactors. So these are the drop down lists of the different modules. Then you will see that this is your to-do list section, which means that if there is any action that needs to be taken as an employee, all those to-do list items will be shown here. The links which are important are related to your org chart, position charts will be available here. If you are a manager in the organization, your direct reportees will be visible under My Team, portlet, and these rectangular boxes that you see are known as portlets in SuccessFactor. If there is any welcome message that has to come, so that can also appear here. I just want to highlight here that this page that you see which is known as the home page, can be customized based on the requirements. So as a consultant, you need to know that this customization would be based on the requirement of the client. If the client says that they only want to see only three portlets, for example, to do my team or links, then as a consultant, you will be able to give that solution and customize this page according to the requirement of the clients. So as of now, these are the listed attributes that, or the tiles or portlets that you see here. Yeah. So let's have a look at the employee files, wherein we will be able to see the org chart and the other details. So this, when I click on the employee file, it opens my public profile. When I click on the public profile, I'll be able to see various details. If you see here, the personal information, employee information. If there are any time related information, then that will appear here. If there is payroll information, that will appear in the payroll information portlets. My profile details, all these things are customizable. Yeah, and that can be customized based on the requirement of the client. So for example, if you have a client who has not taken time and benefits for their implementation, so in that case, you can just select only public profile, personal profile, and adjust in such a way that the time off, timesheet, and all these details are not visible here. So based on the package or the license the clients would take for the implementation, those things would appear here accordingly. So you will be, as a consultant, you will be able to, enable only those records or those portlets which are applicable to the client. So if I look at my personal information, so this is the personal information page. And on the personal information page, there are personal information like first name, last name, middle name, various salutation that you have, your gender, marital status, nationality, and all the information which is personal in, which covers under personal information. There are home address or emergency address. So based on the requirement of the client, you can enable these portlets accordingly. You will also see the biographical information portlet. Then under contact information, if the client says that I only need first email ID information, no phone information, no social accounts or something, then you need not enable these. So these all options or the fields will be visible on the personal information file or the page according to the requirement of the client. So primary emergency contact, if there are any dependents or payment information, all these things will be visible here. And all these can be customized based on the requirement of the client. And let's have a look at the organization chart. So if you look at the organization chart, you have a parameter which says search the organization chart. Here you will be able to see or search people according to the requirement. So for example, and if you look, when you click on the organization chart, it will start from yourself, whoever has logged in. So since I have logged in as iCongro admin, so it is showing up myself, and if I have any direct reportees, then it will accordingly show up. It can also show up the levels. When you click on one level up, it will show whom I am reporting to, which means that Manish Patil is my manager here. Yeah. So this is how the organization chart would look like, and which will drill down to all the details. For example, if I click on Kujin Rationalist, you will be able to see that the details, the phone number, email ID, all the details are added here. Since Kujin Rationalist does not have any direct reportees or no team size, so it is showing up as 0 here. Yeah, so this is how the org chart will look in the system. So I'm again going back. This was the employee view that I was talking. Now let's have a look at the manager view. So for example, if you have your team here and I click on Cogent Rationalist, as a manager, you would see that it is very easy to perform any of the actions that I want to. For example, if I want to change any job information of my direct reportee, I would just have to click on this button and it will show up the details. So for example, if one of my direct reportees performed very well and I would like to give a spot bonus to the direct reportee, so you would be able to see that in SuccessFactors, it's just a click of a button and the details would appear here. So for example, I want to reward $100 to Cogent Rationalist because of the performance, and then I would just enter the details, click on the drop down values and click submit, and the spot bonus would be initiated for one of my direct reportees. So similarly, if I want to change any employment details, then accordingly I should be able to click on that, and if I need to update anything, so you can see it is very user friendly and easy to operate. There is the details or the field levels are very easy, and anybody who is a manager would be able to initiate all these changes as a manager here. Yeah, so with this we come to the end of the Employee Central module demo. Any questions on the Employee Central demo? Anybody? Any questions on Employee Central module that you want to know anything? Or can we move on to the next module? Is it okay that I move on to the next module then? For everybody? I hope everybody has not fallen fast asleep. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one, which is a topic which is very close to all of our hearts, which is performance and goal management. So, at one point of time, you will observe that in a year there is one specific period where we talk a lot about our appraisals, feedbacks, discussions with the managers. But if we look at the facts, it is said that more than half of the companies think that these annual reviews are not at all effective in nature, and it is a waste of their time. So, and 95% of the workforce or people who are working feel that they don't understand the company and the strategy goals. So I would definitely like to say that if I'm working in a company and I would definitely not know whether my goals that I'm setting up in the performance, is it something which is getting derived from the organizational goals? How do I just know that? Or is what is my contribution in making the organizational goals aligned to my goals? So that is where success factors performance management comes into picture, and it is very very crucial and one of the very key modules in the talent management suite, which says that one can increase the engagement and drive continuous performance management. And how does it do that? It has a very simple mechanism which is known as the cascade pull and the cascade push, which means that if there are organizational goals set up, which is definitely the job of the talent specialist in any organization. If you look at any company, say for example Wipro, Infosys, they all have their own vision, mission, which means that by 2020 we need to have a workforce of 1 lakh employees who are working on cloud technology. So if they have such a vision, which means that the recruitment process would be very strong and they need to hire the right kind of skill sets. So what would be the KPIs or the goals that will go into the people who are working in the recruitment domain, and how would those people get those goals cascaded to their KPIs or their goals? So that is how the goal management process is aligned in success factors performance, and I'll show it to you in the system. So let's have a look at the performance and the goal management in the demo system. So now we'll go into the performance section of success factors. If you see this, we have when we click on the performance, the forms are appearing here. So for example, if I click on performance and development plan, I will see that this is how the performance homepage looks. And if you see that this is the cycle in which the performance would move. So, for example, the common process is that you define your goals. Yeah, you define your goals, and then your goals are reviewed accordingly. And once your goals are reviewed, then you enter the self input. Once your self input is entered, you have an offline discussion with your manager. Your manager gets the feedback from you and enters those details, that is, which is known as the year end meeting. And then once the year end meetings are there, if your organization has a rating system, the rating is entered into the system. While, because since there is a paradigm shift and most of the organizations are moving from a rating system to a feedback system in appraisal, so they would then discuss your feedback and enter that feedback, and there is employee signature there and a manager signature, which closes your entire performance cycle here. So this is where your whole process of performance would go. And there are sections which will maintain the employee information. There would be a review information of all the details that you have. What is the time period for this performance cycle? You would also see that your performance is driven based on the goals that you've added. So for example, if you see the goals that I have for myself, I have added that the customer increase in the sales would be too high, and accordingly I would add weightage to this. So I have added a weightage of 10% to these. So this is how my goals are aligning with the goals of the organization. That the organization has a goal of increasing the customer sales. And how am I inheriting that? I'm inheriting that by adding a goal for myself, that wherever I'm working, whichever domain, I need to increase the sales in that domain. So this is how I have inherited the organizational goals. My competencies would be associated here based on the area in which I'm working. And once I filled in all the details, I would click on complete self evaluation, which would complete the performance details. So this was how the performance looks like in the system. We will then move on to the compensation management. And compensation, as we all know, talks about only the salary details of an employee. And it is said that all of us would definitely look at the most important factor, that is, how are we compensated when we are choosing any employer? What is the remuneration that we are going to get? So it is said that 68% of the employees, we all see that remuneration, what are we going to get before we choose our employer. So success factors compensation management is very simple and secure. Compensation management is divided into two. One is known as the variable pay and the other one is known as compensation, where we have simple plans and which are driven by compensation specialists, which have eligibility rules and criteria, and based on a rating system, if you have so, if you don't have so, then they have eligibility rules according to which the employees are compensated. So success factors compensation management helps a lot to attract and retain all the top talent. Okay. So earlier you would see that people used to maintain all the data in their own spreadsheets or budget in the Excel sheets. So with compensation management and the plans which are there, and the plans which are there, the compensation planning is done very nicely in the compensation management. So that was about the compensation management. And then let's move on to the learning management, which is the next module. I would like to ask all of you a question. And please type in your answers. When was the last training that you all attended in your organizations, wherever you are working? When I repeat my question, when was the last training all of you attended in your own organization? 1 month back, 2 months back, or 15 days back, or you just completed a training yesterday? Anybody? Okay. Anybody Anybody else? Ritika, Pratibha, anybody else? Abby? Okay, so I see 2 weeks back. Okay. The facts are a little different from what we just saw. It is said that 80% of the employees do not receive right kind of sponsored training specific to their job and are not happy with the training cycle. But there is a shift with the niche skills and the technologies coming in. We have digitalization revolution, we have AI, artificial intelligence, we have big data, we have data analytics, all these courses which are very new in the market. We want to upskill all the resources in that. So we would see that there has been a lot of shift wherein the learning management for all these courses is taking place, and people are very, very aggressive in understanding these technologies. So SuccessFactors Learning provides comprehensive but easy solution that helps you to choose the skill gaps and helps yourself to develop and hone your skills self in that skill set area. It involves or it in the individuals are engaged when and wherever it is possible. So the one of the most important capabilities that SuccessFactors learning management system has is that SuccessFactors learning can be available on your mobile, on the desktop, on your laptop, but also when you are offline in nature. So, for example, if you have a course that you need to attend and you have an option of downloading that course in the offline mode, and once you've downloaded the course, you take the course offline, and once you log in again with your internet services, it will record your attendance there. So, these are few functionalities which is very robust in learning management system. This learning management system is again a part of SuccessFactors Talent Suite, and learning management is basically Plateau system. Plateau is considered to be the best learning technology in in the cloud market, which SuccessFactors SAP provides. So let's have a look at the learning management process. Sorry. So we have for learning management process, the user or the learner forms the central key person, and based on the requirement or based on the skill that the learner wants to learn, there are catalogs available based on which he or she can go into the catalog, search those courses and assign those courses to themselves. Once they have assigned those courses to themselves, they would be able to see those learning courses on their learning plan. Once the courses are assigned, and there are courses which can be assigned because your manager wants you to undergo a training because the training was mandatory or compliance in nature. Then there are certain trainings, like for example, if you join a new organization, yeah, you would see that there is new joiners kit always, automatically assigned to you, and you need to go and attend that new joiners induction training. So how does that happen automatically? Because it has been set up as a business rule that whenever a new employee joins an organization, there's a new joiner kit that the employee would have to undergo. So the learnings can be automated because you want to learn something which is known as self learning, or because there is an organizational need. Because, for example, you can see that there are organizations which run ethics and compliance training, which are mandatory for you to complete in every 6 months, so that you are following the ethics and compliance guideline of your organization. So these are the various ways in which you can attend your courses. Then there is something which is known as curriculum. There are courses like, for example, ethics and compliance, which you need to undertake every 6 months, or your security awareness or CDP, client data protection guidelines, which every year you need to enroll yourself. So anything which you need to take or train yourself on a regular interval of time, which has a time period associated, is known as curriculum in learning management. Similarly, we have classroom courses, which in SuccessFactors is known as scheduled offering. Once you've completed all these courses, it automatically records in the learning history section of the employees. And there are certain courses which have surveys associated with it, and when there are surveys associated, say for example, if you have attended any course, you want to give a feedback about the course, then the surveys will be enabled, and you will be able to provide feedback on those surveys. There is a robust system in the learning system of having more than 200 reports which are available in SuccessFactors learning, and the administrators would be able to execute all these reports in learning management system. Yeah. So this was all about the learning management system. Are all the modules clear with everybody, or any questions on them? So moving on to the next topic, which is the deployment options. So deployment options, as I mentioned, that SuccessFactors has a motto which says you can start anywhere and go anywhere. So for example, if you are on a legacy system, for example, SAP on-prem, you have an option of making your talent management go on cloud and the core HR is still on-prem, or you can have all of them go onto the cloud together, which means that Employee Central, core HR, and talent management suites, all of them can be migrated from the legacy system to the cloud system. So these are all the different options which are available. You can be in a hybrid model where you keep your talent suite on cloud, but you keep your core HR on the prem, and or you can move everything on the cloud and function accordingly. So these are the deployment options that we have. So, having spoken about a lot of the success factor modules, what they are, an overview of how they look in the system and everything, let's have a quick look at what iCongro offerings are. So, in iCongro, we have virtual learning, which we always promote. We don't want the people to go into classroom sessions, because that is, you can take your sessions anywhere whenever you want. There is a vast inventory of knowledge, which is, there are learning materials which are available to all of you. There are experienced instructors to address your queries. There are real-time scenarios and case studies which is imparted to you if you are enrolled in the sessions with us. So this is a glimpse of all the courses that we offer in iCongro. So if you have a look, then I think there was a question in the chat window on what is the tenure for Employee Central. So 45 hours is the tenure, and which means that 1 hour session every day, and which will span to 1.5 months of tenure, wherein the instructors would be teaching the students accordingly. So these are the various modules that we offer and with the tenures listed. So Introduction to Success Academy is a prerequisite to any course that you would have, but there is a special course for people who are working in sales and pre-sales, which we usually conduct, and wherein people who do not want to understand the nitty-gritties or intricacies or the technicalities and are working in sales and pre-sales and want to understand the modules, specifically all the modules, and we have a module for them as well. So I would quickly like to run through the instructors bios. So basically our instructors are having more than an average of 10 years of experience. We have instructors who are known for their specific capabilities in the cloud market. For example, Maze Resolver, who is an SAP ABAPer by background, but is working as a techno-functional consultant and then moved into functional SAP SuccessFactors area. He is known for his network and never panic attitude, and is able to handle any challenging situation in the technology or in his client that he's working on. So we have people like Cogent Rationalist, people who've worked earlier on PeopleSoft and are currently PeopleSoft HCM and are now working on SuccessFactors and have more than 8 years of experience. You name a challenge or a technical issue, these are people who can resolve them and have a great client experience. We have people who have worked on basically integrating the legacy with cloud, like the tenacious tailblazer, who has more than 7 years of experience and is very good when it comes to integration. We have people who are pathfinders, basically, we call them candle in the dark, and they've worked both as technical and functional people, work as program managers in the organization. So we have people from all walks of IT industry supporting iCongro at each and every module level. So I would like to just show you a sample of how the iCongro's curricula sample looks like. So people who are enrolled in our sessions currently, they are always provided with a curriculum so that they manage themselves accordingly. So when they manage themselves accordingly, they have their time divided, that this is how they will be, utilizing all their. Just give me a moment. I just wanted to show all of you how the curriculum looks like. So if you can see, there is a time associated. So for example, if I have RBP, which is usually discussing the managing the access of the employees or how the security would be governed. So there are subtopics divided and we have time divided for each. So whenever the learners enroll in these modules, we share this schedule with them so that they can follow the schedule accordingly and plan their work accordingly for getting themselves trained and taking the certification. So we would like to then talk about the iCongro's X Factor. We've been into the market for a long time and we act as a lifesaver at every step, beginning from the training to the certification process of the employees who enroll with us. We conduct regular practice sections and mock-up tests during the tenure in order to make you ready and clear the certification. We also share sample certification questions over the training tenure so that you can clear the certification with an understanding of the module clearly. So the next question is, does iCongro also help post certification? Then we would say that yes, definitely, we are always there to help you once you've got certified in a module. And for example, if you have an interview lined up with an MNC, we have packages which offers interview packages, which are a package of 5 to 10 sessions with us, wherein we prepare you for the interview. What if you are certified and you have no experience and you are sent to a client site and you don't know how to conduct the workshops or do the right kind of requirement gatherings? Does iCongro help you in that case? Yes, iCongro definitely helps you in that case, wherein you are doing an implementation and you need support. We have packages which are sessions of 20 classes spanning across 1.5 months, which is your build and the design phase, wherein you keep in constant support and sessions with the iCongro team here, and we help you on the processes, workshops, wherein you can ask the right questions with the client and gather the information and build the system accordingly. So let's have a look at the Bonanza offers that we have. So we have a referral discounts. If you want to enroll and become a part of iCongro, you can refer to the candidates who enroll and you become eligible to get the referral bonus. We have group discounts. If you join as a group of 2 or more, you're again eligible for a group discount. We have an early bird offer that if you are registering with us between 10th to 18th March, you will be eligible for early bird discounts with us. So there are different discount proposals. We also have our meetup group, which is which you can join and you can keep yourself updated. So our next batch starts from 26th of March and you can drop a note on these below listed email IDs, and you can also go to our website, which is icongro.com, or you can call us directly on the mobile number which is mentioned, and you can directly register from the website, which is iCongro Global, which I'll be showing you shortly. So if I go here and if you go to iCongro Global, on the learning board section, you have the query And under the queries, you have query for individual. You can send in the name and the details, and you can select from the drop down value which module do you want to register. For example, if you want to go for Employee Central, and you enter your details and send in us that you want to join the batch of 26 March and submit this, we will be getting back to you with the payment and all the details that you need to make, and accordingly we would answer all your queries. So any questions so far on the certification process? So this is the meetup group. So I think there was a question that how long will the Employee Central training be? I think I've answered the questions to you, GP, that it is 1.5 months of Employee Central, and what time it will happen every day. So the time is flexible based on your query that you have with us. If you have times in the morning sessions, or if you want to attend evening sessions, you can accordingly drop a note to us, and we will be able to adjust you in those sessions in the evening or the morning classes based on the classes availability. So we are flexible on your availability for that. Any other questions from anybody? Because with that, we come to an end of this webinar. I hope you were able to gather information on the webinar. Yes, you can have weekend classes. You have 45 hours, yeah, and 1 hour each, and you can make yourself flexible if you want to attend those weekend classes. That will span accordingly, and utilize those hours if you only want to attend weekend classes based on your available, because I understand if you're working, you won't get time from your 9 to 6 job, or you cannot devote time, then you can accordingly attend those classes. So what timings will that be? So the timings would be morning and night, but the timings we will have to publish our schedule, but we are flexible if you want to accommodate your timings. If you want to suggest certain timings, like for example, if you want to attend a 7 a.m. class with us, we would be able to accommodate that for you, but you need to give us your requirements accordingly. So as of now, we do not provide any certificate, neither does SAP provide certificate. Only if you take the certification, which will cost you around 40,000, you will be able to get the certificate from SuccessFactors SAP. Once you've completed, or once you have cleared that certification from SAP. But we will be able to drive you right from the beginning of the training process till you clear the certification, with all the material and the mock-up tests that we have for you. Does that answer your question? Yes, there on the learning board which I showed you, you will be able to see this recording session on the event section. If you see, you will be able to see this recording here, and after the session we would be able to share the link to these recording with all the participants who have attended this session. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions. I hope you can see my screen. You can query your questions and write to us accordingly, and we will definitely get back to us on your query that you have raised to us. Any other questions from anybody? Any questions from any of the participants? Okay, I think then with this, we would like to end the session. Thank you so much for joining the session. Have a great day ahead.